Civics Bowl is back for season 2. More schools, more questions, and more competition. This season promises to be bigger and better than ever. 10 teams from Spokane area high schools will test their civics knowledge over the next several weeks. But only one can take home the Civics Bowl championship trophy.
The Civics Bowl is made possible by Eastern Washington University, Canopy Credit Union, the Avista Foundation, the League of Women Voters of the Spokane area and of Washington, and by viewers like you.
Hello and welcome to the first Civics Bowl matchup of the new season. I'm your host and President and General Manager of KSPS, Gary Stokes. If you watched the action last season, welcome back. If you're new to Civics Bowl, you're in for 4 rounds of questions designed to challenge not only the contestants here today, but also you at home. Hundreds of questions for this competition were prepared by volunteers from the Spokane branch of the League of Women Voters, and we thank them for their hard work. Let's take a look at the tournament bracket. This season, we are welcoming teams from some new districts in our area. We have 10 teams from Spokane Public Schools, the Central Valley School District, and the Liberty School District. For match 1 today, Liberty High School takes on University High School. Let's meet the teams. Liberty, take it away.
Hi, I'm Eli.
I'm Isabel.
I'm Mitchell.
I'm Henry.
And we want to also welcome Liberty's alternate, Dylan, and their coach, Randy Degenhardt. And now, University.
Hello, I'm Georgia.
I'm Kate.
Hi, I'm Corinne. I'm Taylor.
And in the audience, we have University's alternate, Emory, and their coaches, Paul Schneider and Ryan Montang. All right, let's get started with the toss-up round. In this round, I'll ask a toss-up question to all players. You must wait until I've finished reading the question, then you can buzz in to answer. Whichever team answers the toss-up question correctly will receive a bonus question. All questions in this round are worth 10 points. There is no deduction for wrong answers. You are encouraged to collaborate with your teammates only on the bonus questions. Teams, are you ready? Let's begin. Here's your toss-up. What year was the original U.S. Constitution written prior to ratification? Mitchell.
1787.
That is correct. Here's your bonus. Before the Constitution, what American document described a firm league of friendship among the 13 states?
Articles of Confederation.
That is correct, and don't forget to buzz. Here's your toss-up. What are the 2 forms of democracy? Kate.
A republic and a Democrat? Sorry.
That is incorrect. Mitchell?
A republic and a direct democracy.
Direct and indirect. Direct and indirect. Okay, what are the 2 types of dictatorships? Kate?
Totalitarian and proxy?
That is incorrect. Liberty? Mitchell?
Inherited and non-inherited.
Autocracies and oligarchies. Your next toss-up comes from a guest presenter.
Hi, I'm Denny Heck, the Lieutenant Governor of Washington, and here is your question. Both George Washington and Benjamin Franklin were impressed with the principles of an indigenous group's constitution. Many elements of their constitution found their way into the U.S. Constitution. What indigenous group was this?
Mitchell.
The Iroquois.
Correct.
And now the bonus. 6 tribes were part of the Iroquois Confederacy. Name 4.
Iroquois, Cherokee. Do we know any other? Don't know anymore.
Mohawk, Seneca, Oneida, Cayuga, Onondaga, and Tuscarora. Okay, here's a toss-up, both teams. What are the powers of the U.S. Congress that are specifically listed in the U.S. Constitution called? Mitchell.
Enumerated powers.
That is correct. And here is your bonus. Which of the following is not an expressed power of the U.S. Congress specified in the Constitution? A, declare war. B, establish post offices. C, establish public schools. D, coin money.
C, establish public schools.
That is correct. Here's toss-up, both teams. There are 435 members in the U.S. House of Representatives. Which 3 states currently have the most representatives? Mitchell.
California, New York, and Florida.
That is incorrect. Kate.
California, Florida, and Texas.
That is correct. And bonus to you. 6 states currently have only 1 representative in Congress. Name one.
Wyoming.
Wyoming is correct. Also South Dakota, Vermont, Alaska, Delaware, and North Dakota. Here's your toss-up. Which chamber of Congress has the power of impeachment? Mitchell.
The House of Representatives.
That is correct. Here's your bonus. Does impeachment require a majority or a supermajority vote of the House of Representatives?
A simple majority will suffice in the House.
That is correct. Here's your toss-up. Which chamber of Congress has the power to try a president or other federal civil officers on impeachment charges? Mitchell.
The Senate.
That is correct. Here's your bonus. Does a conviction for impeachment require a majority or a supermajority vote of the Senate?
A supermajority is required.
Supermajority is correct. A 2/3 vote. Here's toss-up, both teams, and here's your next guest presenter.
Hi, I'm Keonta Duncan, past president of the Spokane branch of the NAACP. Here's your question. In 1896, the Supreme Court ruled that the principle of separate but equal was legal. What did this separate but equal doctrine allow?
Mitchell.
Racial segregation.
That is correct. And here's your bonus, also from Keonta Duncan.
More than 50 years later, what court case determined that separate but equal in schools violated the Equal Protection Clause of the U.S. Constitution?
Brown versus Board of Education.
That is correct. Toss-up, both teams. What term describes the United States Supreme Court's extraordinary power to decide the constitutionality of an act of government? Corinne.
Judicial review.
Correct. And here's your bonus. Name the case whereby the Supreme Court first asserted its power of judicial review.
Our team answer is Marbury versus Madison.
You are correct. Toss up, both teams. Which clause in the Fifth Amendment states that the government can only take people's inalienable rights by first offering a fair trial? Mitchell.
Right to a speedy trial.
University.
Due process.
That is correct. And here's your bonus. According to the Fifth Amendment's takings clause, or eminent domain, what 2 things must the government do in order to take your personal property?
Give you market value and time.
The correct answer is take property for public use and pay a fair price for the property. Here's your next toss-up. Name 2 of the 3 prohibitions listed in the 8th Amendment. And you must name 2. Kate.
No cruel and or unusual punishment.
And one more.
You have a right to a criminal trial.
Prohibitions against excessive bail and excessive fines were the other 2. Okay, here's your last question. What act of Congress granted all Native Americans born in the U.S. citizenship? Mitchell.
Dawes Act.
That's incorrect. Kate.
The 14th Amendment Citizenship Clause.
The Indian Citizenship Act of 1924. Nice first round, teams. Well done. After round 1, Scoring is 110 for Liberty and 50 for University. We'll be back in a moment to get to know the players and play the head-to-head round. Now we'd like to take a moment to get to know our players and their schools a little better. We've asked each school to produce a video for Civics Bowl. Liberty, let's start with yours.
Liberty High School from Spangle, Washington.
180 Lancers attend our 2B school.
Liberty is a small school helping students realize their large potential.
Since 2014, Lancer teams have appeared in 7 state championship games.
Girls basketball winning in 2020.
Boys basketball winning in 2022.
We have 6 wrestling state titles.
9 academic state championship teams.
National ranking FFA teams.
Award-winning music program.
This year, we are sending our first civics team.
Very nice, Liberty, very nice. So now we get to hear from each of you. So 2 things, your class and your favorite hobby. Eli.
I'm a senior and I like to read and hang out with some of my friends.
Isabel.
I'm also a senior and I like to draw and write.
Mitchell.
I am a sophomore and I enjoy studying history.
And Henry.
I'm a senior and I like computer programming.
Excellent, thank you. It's great to meet all of you. And now, University, it's your turn. Let's start with your school video.
Hi, we're University High School Civics Bowl team.
We are located in Spokane Valley, Washington. We are a 3A school in the GSL League. We are home to 1,400 students, and we are the proud home of the Titans.
Here at U-High, we support our academic programs, our sports programs, and our thriving extracurriculars.
The thing that's special about U-High is our theme for this year, which is You Belong. The U in University High School stands for You Belong.
University High School was originally built in 1960, and until 2002, it was just down the road a few blocks.
Good luck, Civics Bowl!
I think I like the videos almost as much as I like the show itself. So now, University, tell us more about yourselves. Georgia?
I'm a senior and my hobby is band.
Kate?
I'm a senior and I like playing Dungeons & Dragons.
Corinne?
I'm also a senior and I love playing volleyball.
And Taylor?
I'm a senior and I love to read.
Excellent. Thanks for being here, teams. We're going to get back to the match with the head-to-head round coming up next. And now it's time for the head-to-head round. But first, we have a scoring update. The judges have decided to accept Liberty's answer on the 2 forms of democracy. The score is now Liberty 120, University 50. On to the next round. This is a fun one. As you can see, we've moved to a new set. That's because you'll go head-to-head one at a time in this round. Just as with the last round, you must wait for me to finish asking the question, then you can buzz in to answer. Correct answers are worth 10 points, no deduction for wrong answers, and teams, you are not allowed to work together in this round. Are you ready? All right, let's go. Where are each party's presidential and vice presidential candidates officially chosen?
The National Convention.
That is correct. What concern did the framers of the Constitution have about political parties?
That there would be too many factions and that they would override each other.
That is correct. Next. In 1992, which independent presidential candidate and business executive netted 19% of the popular vote, but not a single electoral college vote?
Bush?
Incorrect. Ross Perot. Ross Perot. In a new law enacted in Washington state last year, what right is restored to a person convicted of a felony after that person has served their sentence?
The right to vote.
That is correct. In all economic systems, 3 basic resources are needed. These are referred to as factors of production. Name one.
Shelter?
Incorrect.
Consumers?
Land, capital, labor. Which government agency is responsible for printing dollar bills?
The National Treasury?
Incorrect.
The Federal Reserve.
Bureau of Engraving and Printing. How long is the term of the governor in Washington State?
4 years.
That is correct. In addition to his executive responsibilities, the governor also has certain legislative responsibilities. Name one.
Call a special session of the legislature.
That is correct. The governor also has some judicial powers. Name one.
Veto.
No. Appointing judges to fill vacancies in state courts, issuing pardons, commutation of sentences, and paroles. Who has legislative and executive authority in Spokane County? Time's up.
City Council.
County Board of Commissioners. What's the process called by which a state establishes a city? Incorporation. What is the name for a city's constitution?
The charter.
That is correct. And that is the last question. Well done, everyone. Now we're going to get set up for the next round. Category round is coming up next. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back. It's time for the category round. In this round, teams will answer questions from the following categories: basic concepts of government, Congress in session, civil rights laws, name that president, and local courts. Each category has 5 questions that increase in point value from 10 to 30. Teams will alternate choosing a category. You can pick any category, however, you cannot jump ahead in point value. Points are deducted for wrong answers in this round, and you will work together to answer each question. Now, there's some strategy involved in this round. You can pass on a question, which means you can choose not to answer, and no points will be deducted. You can also toss a question to the other team. The receiving team is then forced to answer that question and either win or lose the associated points. But you can only toss a question 3 times, so use those tosses wisely. Let's remind everyone of the score. Liberty 160, University 70, and teams, if you're ready, let's begin. And we are going to University.
Basic government concepts.
Basic government concepts for 10. Name 2 of the 3 basic English concepts of government that influenced the new colonial America government.
Our team answer is the English Bill of Rights and the Magna Carta.
That is incorrect. We were looking for ordered government, limited government, or representative government.
Name that president for 10.
Who was the first and only U.S. president to be elected more than 2 terms?
Franklin D. Roosevelt.
Correct.
Basic gov concepts.
Basic concepts of government 415. Why did the colonists think an ordered government was needed?
Our team answer is because they needed to structure their society and because they needed food and stuff.
That is correct. Liberty.
Name that president for 15.
Name that president for 15. Which president supported the passage of the Indian Removal Act of 1830, which forced more than 100,000 indigenous people from their land, killing thousands?
Andrew Jackson.
That is correct. University.
Name that president.
Name that president for 20. Which president was assassinated by someone angry about not getting a government job, which then led to the banning of the patronage system?
Garfield.
That is correct. Liberty.
Name that president for 25.
Name that president for 25. Who was president during World War I?
Woodrow Wilson.
That is correct.
Name that president 30.
Finishing that category, the last time an undecided presidential election went to a vote in the U.S. House was in 1825. Who did they pick to become president after an inconclusive vote in the Electoral College?
We pass.
The answer is John Quincy Adams.
Congress in session for 10.
Congress in session for 10. How long is each congressional session?
2 years.
That is correct.
Basic gov concepts.
Basic government concepts for 20. Under an ordered government, name one example of a unit or office of the government created by the colonists that is still present today.
Our team answer is Department of State.
No. City, town government, county government, sheriff, justice of the peace, grand jury. Liberty.
Congress in session for 15, please.
Congress in session for 15. When does a new term or session of Congress begin?
January 3rd of all odd-numbered years.
That is correct. University. Kate.
Congress in session.
Congress in session for 20. To whom does the President deliver the annual State of the Union address?
Our team answer is Congress.
That is correct.
Congress in session for 25, please.
Congress in session for 25. And once again, here's Lieutenant Governor Denny Heck with your video question.
Name the parliamentary procedure the Senate is allowed to use to extend debate over a proposed piece of legislation to delay or entirely prevent a vote.
The filibuster.
That is correct. Kate.
Congress in session for 30.
Congress in session for 30. What procedure limits debate or ends a filibuster by calling for a vote?
Our team answer is a cloture.
That is correct. And that category is done. Liberty.
Civil rights laws for 10.
Civil rights laws for 10. From the 1870s to the late 1950s, Congress did not pass a single piece of meaningful civil rights legislation. What year did that change with the beginning of a number of civil rights laws?
1957.
Correct. Kate.
Basic government concepts.
For 25. What was the importance of a representative government for the colonists?
That they didn't like the monarchy and they wanted direct access to their government.
That is correct. Great round, teams. Those points add up fast in this round. Let's check the score. Liberty 270, University 150. Only one round remains, the lightning round, and it's coming up next.
Mount Rushmore in South Dakota is one giant piece of artwork expected to impress onlookers for generations to come. The iconic landmark is carved out of granite, which erodes roughly 1 inch every 10,000 years. Since each president's nose is about 240 inches long, how long might they last before completely wearing away? A. 20,000 years. B. 240,000 years. C. 2.4 million years. D. 24 million years. Do you know the answer? Follow the QR code on your screen or go to ksps.org/civicsbowl to submit your answer and be entered into a drawing to win a prize. The deadline to enter is Monday at noon. And please, you're on the honor system here. No Googling. We will contact the winner directly and let you all know the right answer next week on Civics Bowl.
We're just one round away from learning who will be the first to advance in the Civics Bowl tournament this season. In the lightning round, we'll put 90 seconds on the clock. This is your chance to answer as many questions as you can in that time. Each question is worth 20 points. Points are deducted for wrong answers. You answer individually in this round, no conferring is allowed. Let's get a final check on the score. Liberty 270, University 150. Teams, are you ready? Let's go. What do we call the delegates who attended the Constitutional Convention? Mitchell.
Framers.
That is correct. Which amendment added to the U.S. Constitution in 1865 abolished slavery? Kate.
The 13th Amendment?
That is correct. Which amendment prohibited denying the right to vote based on a citizen's race, color, or previous condition of servitude? Mitchell.
The 15th.
That is correct. Is there a limit on the number of terms a member of either house of the U.S. Congress might serve? Corinne.
No.
That is correct. In the line of presidential succession, which Senate officer succeeds the Speaker of the House? Taylor.
The President pro tempore.
That's correct. What are the names of the 2 U.S. senators from Washington State? Mitchell.
Maria Cantwell and Patty Murray.
Correct. True or false, the president has to sign a bill in order for it to become law? Taylor.
False.
That is correct. A presidential pardon can only be used in what type of cases? Mitchell.
Criminal.
Incorrect. Federal. What do we call a large, complex administrative structure that handles the everyday business of an organization? Taylor.
Bureaucracy.
Correct. What office ranks first among the members of the president's cabinet? Mitchell.
Vice President.
Secretary of State. What did America do in 1917 to, quote, make the world safe for democracy? Mitchell.
Entered World War I.
Correct. What is the name of the... And that wraps it up. A close match, really well done, both teams. Now taking a look at the final score, Liberty 310, University 250, and that means Liberty will advance to play Shadle Park High School in a couple of weeks. We hope you enjoyed playing along from home. See you next week on Civics Bowl.
The Civics Bowl is made possible by Eastern Washington University, Canopy Credit Union, the Avista Foundation, the League of Women Voters of the Spokane area and of Washington, and by viewers like you.